Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. Well, on Saturday, a group of wildland fire representatives from the Wildland Fire Agency raised the national fire preparedness level to a level 4. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins issued a statement after the announcement stating that we are in peak fire season and are rightfully raising the preparedness level, ensuring we're protecting our public lands and communities from devastating fires. Now, I recently spoke with the director of the Wyoming Department of Agriculture, Doug Miyamoto, who recently attended the Western Association of State Department of Agriculture's annual meeting. At this meeting, Doug shared Wyoming's response in preparing to prevent another disastrous fire season.
Seeing so much grassland burn up, in late August all the way through October created obviously some challenges. And what we were finding out is that we may have some response programs and they work to a varying degree, but a lot of times there isn't as much focus put on recovery from those fires. We had a good situation here in Wyoming where our Wyoming legislature really stepped up during the last session and allocated some funding to go in and look at landscape conservation, restoration after those fires. We've been partnering with the University of Wyoming and all of our weed and pest districts to try to make sure that we don't have bad outcomes from the disturbance of those fires.
Doug added that the state of Wyoming has laid out a template for successfully recovering from a large-scale fire season like last year. And the Bureau of Land Management, in partnership with the state of Wyoming, will be implementing cheatgrass treatments to several BLM-managed areas starting today. The Sublette County Weed and Pests Aerial Contract Applicator will be treating along the Wind River and Wyoming Range throughout the entire month of July and August. The treatments are accumulation of many years of planning to acquire funding and permissions to treat cheatgrass. Updates on the work can be found at the Sublette County Weed and Pest Facebook page. And the Beartooth Resource Conservation and Development Area will be hiring for a Food and Ag Development Director position. The Beartooth RC&D is a nonprofit organization that receives federal funding providing development and business assistance to 5 counties in south central Montana. The director position is a full-time position, and more information on the job description can be found at www.beartooth.org. Stay with us. We'll be back to take a look at the markets right after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Well, the record high week in the cattle markets was apparently only expected to last a week. Traders on Monday were convinced that the market was overbought and a price correction was needed. We saw the feeder cattle contracts drop from $5 to $6, while the live cattle contracts dropped another $2 to $3. Traders were quite skeptical of the markets without seeing where the fundamentals for this week will lie. We did see higher cash cattle prices to end last week. Live bids were $4 higher, while dress bids were up nearly $10, but this week may be a different story. Box beef prices have been on a bit of a downtrend as of lately, which could be favorable to packers pushing for lower cash values. Choice cutoffs dropped another $1.57 yesterday at $3.77. Last Friday wrapped up the Superior Livestock Week in the Rockies video auction, and what a historic sale it was. Light 4-weight steers from our region sold from $487 to $542. Light 5-weights brought $429 on the average, with heavy 6-weights bringing $345. For the females, the average was about $20 a hundred off their steer mates. 6-weight heifers sold from $332 to $356. Heavy 7-weights brought $309, and 900-pound heifer yearlings brought $299 to $304. For the grain markets, Monday displayed traders' thoughts on the Friday's World Supply and Demand report. Corn futures managed to find near nickel gains, with crop progress expected to improve this week. Soybean contracts found themselves in the red ink, even after what was expected to be a bullish supply and demand report. Declining stocks and trade uncertainty has not provided any evidence to traders to push the futures higher. Now for the wheat markets, Monday was another case of the Monday slumps. Contracts were unable to find support, and this week, spring wheat conditions should see some significant improvement, while winter wheat harvest, it should be near 2/3 complete by the end of this week. KC winter wheat contracts in September fell 3 cents at $3.67, with spring wheat down a dime at $6.03. Well, that's all the time we have for our Northern Ag TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colton Young.